All right, welcome back. Today we're going to install new ball joints in my knuckles and then get the knuckles put onto the casing. I've bought Moog Ball Joints. This is the lower one. It's got a grease fitting that'll go in this hole on the bottom of the ball joint. And then the upper one's got one that's actually mounted on the side. So this has been sandblasted. It's got VHT primer and VHT black, a couple coats of black, just kind of get it started. And then if you need to, we're doing the assembly today. If you need to see how to get this off and the things you got to do to at least get to this point, part one of this series, and I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner, it actually shows the disassembly of this and getting this off the actual axle. But so we're gonna get this set up. We're gonna put the bottom one in first. Let me get that all set up with my I think that's called a 3-in-1 tool, ball joint press. Let me get that all set up and then we'll get this pushed on. Okay, a couple quick notes. This upper joint socket actually has a gusset here that goes into the socket, therefore it's got a flange right here. They make a tapered cup that you can use to press this on, but I don't have it. In fact, I kind of knew this was going on and I just ended up just modifying mine. Now this will fit up in there and I'll be able to pull this in square. You got to pull these in tight. It's a very, very tight fit. The other thing is, again, it's got a grease fitting here at an angle. And we got to make sure we orientate this right, and we're going to orientate it back kind of at a 45-degree angle from here so we can turn the wheel and get to it without taking things apart. So it's going to go in about like that. So let me get this all set back up and we'll get it all pressed in. All right, I got the grease Zerk fittings installed, both top and bottom. What I like about these Moog kits is they actually come with everything. You got a retaining clip here, which we do not use in the Jeep application. This does not stick down far enough for that to go on, and it's because this is extra thick on the Jeep Dana 30. So this is something, there wasn't one on here when I took it off, and they just don't use it. It did come with a new bottom nut, top split sleeve that'll go in the housing, capsule nut, and a cotter pin. So it's got everything you need to do this stuff. So I'm going to get the other one caught up and then we'll get both of these installed in the housing. Alright, so starting with the passenger side knuckle, I've got this split sleeve out according to the service manual. And what they want us to do is put this in here and put this on finger tight. Okay, and now they want us to put the top one on tight. What this is going to do is draw up. We're going to tighten this quite a bit. We're going to draw up this tapered sleeve into that thing so it'll stick. If you don't do that, the stud, the ball joint stud will actually want to try and spin as you're tightening this. So let's get this guy tight. Alright, and with that sleeve out of there now because it went tight, it means I've got that taper wedged in there. So now we're going to tighten this guy, and we're going to torque this to 80 foot-pounds. Alright, now I need to get this nut back off and get my split sleeve in there and get it torqued to 50 foot-pounds. And now we're going to put this nut back on and torque it to 100 foot-pounds, and then line up, make sure at the end we're going to line this thing up with a hole by tightening it enough to get to that hole and put a cotter pin in it. Alright, because I don't see the hole, I'm going to tighten it a little bit more. Alright, here's the hole showing up there. I gotta go a little bit more. A little more. Alright, now I can get the cotter pin in right there. Alright, so now we got that in there. Every bit of this resistance here is coming from the tighter ball joints. It has nothing to do with how you tighten this stuff. Alright, this side went in just as easy. I got a nice, snug, tight fit, very smooth. Looking forward to that. So now, I think let's put the U-joints in the axles. Alright, I'm going to swap out these U-joints on these front axles. When I pulled these axles out and I sandblasted the housing in part 1, I actually sandblasted these and just threw a little bit of primer on them just to kind of protect them. I have inspected, all the splines look good, and all the surfaces that have seals run against them are in good shape, so we just need to basically replace this. There's a little C-clip. Each of these bearing caps have a C-clip that you got to pop off. So let me get these off real quick and then we'll bring you back. Alright, now to get this top shaft off, I'm just going to hit right here, and hopefully this will start moving down and it'll get this bearing cap off. Alright, let's get this put back together. Here's the new U-joint, and it's got a greasable fitting here, and it actually points in at an angle, and I want that to go in toward the center of the vehicle. This is the inner shaft, so I want to install this on this side, and that'll make it easier to grease down the road. And the other thing, I'd messed up, I'd done this a couple times many years ago, and tried to beat this cap on without putting that stud in there, and the bearings came kind of loose, and one of the needle bearings ended up in the top of the cap, and I couldn't get it, ended up having to take it apart. It's a pain in the butt. So anyway, I'm going to put that up in there as far as I can, get this at least started. Okay. Flip it over and do the same on this side. Alright, we want to put those in deep enough that these rings, that one will fit, and the bottom one actually pushed back out. I'm going to put this one on. And that'll lock it in place. Alright, heard it snap. Alright, it's in good. Now let's get this one driven down. A little more. Okay, that finishes that one. I'm going to do the same thing for the driver's side. It's got a longer inner shaft, but the rest of it's kind of the same process. Alright, we got this spindle seal, and it's got a big square flat side that goes against that, and this other flange portion goes toward the spindle this direction. So this is going to go on here. I'll pull this back out a little bit so we can see it and get to it. Alright, book says we need to grease this a little bit. Obviously this surface right here is going to need it, but also they want us to kind of pack this little area right here. I got one more piece to put in there too. There's this little plastic spacer. It's got a chamfer on this side that goes in toward that chamfer there. And then they ask us to pack this little area. And the spindle, I did get the new bearing put in there, and then this, a minute ago I showed you where I put it in there like this with this groove up, but I'm pretty sure the groove goes down, so I'm gonna swap this around. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease down in here too. And this is gonna go on. I'm gonna rotate this where this slots a little bit on the upside. Next is the dust shield, and I've enlarged these holes because it was real hard to get this off, so I went ahead and opened these up to make it a lot easier. This will go on like this. And we're going to tighten these down to 30 foot-pounds. Alright, so that finishes up the axle and the spindles, and everything seems to still turn perfect, so really liking that. My wheel bearing nuts and lock washers have not come in yet, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. We'll get to the hubs, the locking hubs, and the brake calipers in the next video, so hopefully we'll see you then.
Jack it up.